All right, recording started. Hi, everyone. Atanas, you're trying to speak to us because you're muted. Okay, probably not. Okay, we'll start off with a sync, with the standout sync of between the teams, and then maybe we can open a short discussion about everything that went down, or some of the things, the important things that went down in Google I/O last week. So let's start with sync first. Who wants to go first?
Mine is pretty short this time. I'm working on an auth provider plugin for Amazon TV.
מה אתה אומר?
Okay.
Okay. What does it include? Just to give some better context.
So it includes the login. I mean, it's a login. It's an auth provider plugin for to be able. I mean, you have to log in to be able to watch a video, but it's not a regular.
It's a third-party login, or it's something standard from Amazon? Login to
Yeah,
what?
it's a third part. It's like an API for Real Vision.
Okay.
So you have to, you have to get a token from them and then play the video. So it's not a regular login, but I know Atanas, maybe you can share why it's better to use login instead of auth provider, because I managed to make it work.
Yes, so it is a very old API, and it was an sorry, I'm into meetings.
I think that's really a question for Atanas. He's just been distracted for a second.
Sorry. Yeah, so I would recommend to use the login API because the other API is too old. But if if this API is fine, you can make it work and it is safe. Like I think it is. I frankly don't mind.
You give to. This is more for Alyssa.
So no one used the auth provider API?
I think some apps may still be using it.
They build those.
I
think it's coupled with Applicaster too, if I'm not mistaken.
What? The authentication provider? We are using it, if what you ask.
Yeah, we too, but I didn't know it's considered like an old API.
What does it mean that it's an old API? The authentication provider is not related to the login. This is something
exactly. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's coupled with Applicaster too, if I'm not mistaken. You need to set up things in Applicaster too, right? So it's a different feature. You're not really logging in. It's some sort of setup you do in Applicaster too, and it enables you to kind of identify the user.
And basically, it works with the storefront that we have.
Yes, exactly. So I'm not really need the storefront. I need all the rest of this API.
Okay.
I mean, instead of open the storefront, I need to open a login.
You can customize the storefront and use a login provider only for opening the storefront from the login provider.
Exactly.
And it will include the authentication provider if you will configure it in the CMS, and that's all.
This is what I did, but it's a different in Amazon Fab because we are not using the AP based activity. And then
which base activity are you using?
Just fragment activity.
Not the AP based fragment activity?
No.
Why not? Maybe you should.
because we cannot use the style format as we are using for mobile and Android TV. No, actually, just for mobile. Is that right, Atanas? Are you there? So we cannot use the same style format for mobile and Android TV, and then we have to use the fragment activity and not the base activity.
So maybe you can use the, I think the behavior is in the app-based behavior. I don't remember exactly the class. So you can use this behavior inside your activity that you're
The
using,
fragment activity.
not in the base. Like all the base activity are using the behavior. For this stuff, maybe you can use the behavior also, without this base fragment activity.
Yeah.
But why? Maybe
Okay. It should be all.
Okay, thanks, Fanny. All right,
I
who's
have
next?
something to update. Maybe
Yes.
it's a I will be next.
Yes, please.
Okay, so first of all, I made a breaking change in the React Native plugins. If somebody using the React Native plugins and call the Zap5 implementation module in the SDK, so the parsing that I changed the parsing, so it won't include the type and the data redundant attributes that we had there. I know that Anna did it in the URL scheme. So I did it now in the Zap5. So if you have a React Native plugins that call the Zap5, please be sure that you're making the adjustment for that. It will be in the SDK 6.1 and above. Let's know this.
Gil, did you merge it to master already?
No, it's in there.
It's in sorry, in a dev SDK, right?
Yes, it's in there.
Okay. I would be happy to have a look if you still got PR to have a look at that PR. I got some I'm experiencing some crashes on the React Native, and I'm wondering maybe this is related.
I will send it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's just changing the serialization of it. I will share it with you.
Maybe it's worth. I don't know if you have it now, Kariti. Maybe it's worth sharing a few lines of code of what the change is and what is expected from plugin owners to change.
Basically, we had an issue with parsing all the objects on the Atom object a few months ago. Because we had an issue with that. So I use one-time runtime adapter for the serialization. It's something that we can use in the JSON parsing process to determine which kind of entry, if it's an Atom feed or it's an Atom entry, and to pass it as we expected. So what I did a few months ago, maybe 1 year ago, is to add another attribute to this model. Okay, and this attribute caused a lot of issues, so I just remove it. I can again share it with you if you want. I need to find it, so maybe we will continue and then you will come back to me.
Yeah, it can be also next week, but as long as everybody understands what is breaking in the, obviously if it's a change in the way React Native plugins communicate with data source, it's something that almost everyone who's using that React Native is potentially can be influenced.
Okay, but just Gil, I think it's important to to update everybody. I don't know if you're in the release note or I don't know where, but in the
Nobody is
version,
really in the release note. It should be.
I updated also in the relevant channels, in the annual channel, in the native channel.
Okay.
I don't know if it's enough or I should. I hope that everybody will remember it. That's all.
The things with the React Native plugins that we are using outsourcing, so they also should be aware of
I cannot talk with the outsourcer. I'm telling you.
Can imagine.
Notify to all the outsourcers.
Yeah, we need to know it internally and then.
Okay, so this is one
change.
stuff. Another issue that we have is we have a crash in all the Huawei devices, Chromecast. So if you use Chromecast, for some reason all the Huawei devices crash. I'm now on this bug. I'm not sure why it's happened, but we need to make research. This is one issue. And the second issue, it's the audio player crash also if you are using ExoPlayer 2.6.1. We update this library, the ExoPlayer, because we must do it for Diva, for the FIFA SDK. We have a Diva player that uses ExoPlayer 2.6.1, so we also update it, and it's causing issues with the audio player. So just need to know, Team Israel is working on these two fixes. But if you experience crashes regarding to this issue, so let's be aware. That's all on my side.
All right, thank you. Who's next?
I will go next, as nobody is speaking. Okay, share screen. Okay, so can you see my screen? I guess yes. Okay, so basically, nowadays we don't have support for logout in the SDK. So we need to find some tricky ways to do it. So we have our app that has login and we wanted a logout. So in the past, we have this screen where you can log out from here. Well, it was this screen, okay? Built with components. So basically in that screen, you have an option that was a link. Okay, is this? It was an URL scheme to log out. So with this URL scheme, if your plugin was implemented that, you can log out. This is our login plugin, okay? Basically, you have to implement the handle plugin scheme, and there you can log out, implementing the logic. Basically, I'm having this method action. See if the action is type login and the parameter is a logout, you log out. I don't want to go in detail, but basically it's this. Okay, so the problem with this solution is that your link will always show logout, even if you are not logging. So how do we solve this situation? This situation we solve creating a custom screen for that. This custom screen is in another plugin, and we are calling this plugin like this. So if your plugin is type general, and here you can pass any parameter, we are presenting this screen. And this screen is this one. that I'm showing here.
Amazon.
Now, if I'm not logging, I saw login. If I'm already logging, I saw logout.
That's the kind of provider. So Samsung is one, Mars, all the other platforms are there.
And now it shows logout.
Mobile based.
And basically, that's all. If anybody needs to implement something similar.
How do you want it? How do you want to fix logout or login? By like you're taking the third item always. You just
No.
change the text?
This is custom logic of my plugin. Okay. I think it's not. This screen is not with components. Okay. It's totally custom. This screen is a normal activity in my plugin with his layout, etc.
Okay. So you just use the URL scheme.
Exactly. I'm using the URL scheme just to call my plugin. This is the URL scheme.
Okay.
So basically, if I have one plugin, well, there is infrastructure to open to call plugins that handle URL scheme. So basically, my plugin is handle this action of URL scheme. That's the reason when my plugin, when this URL is called in the SDK, my plugin is getting that and opening a new activity. That is the activity that you see here.
Basically, what we did in the last project, we didn't use the more link, like we called it the profile, user profile, and then we entered to the login with the URL scheme to the login plugin, and we opened a new activity, and we knew if the user is already logged in, we open like logout activity, and if it was logout, so we open the login. Everything we did in the same login plugin.
Yeah, but the UI still presented one action name. It would either show login or log out according to what's in the menu.
I heard some notes
now or changing sizes, whereas if it's environments, it's
okay. So it's I guess it's a different approach. I don't know exactly how you change it.
These are two different plugins because we didn't want this screen to be part of the login. But obviously, you can have all in the same plugin if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, in the Quizy case, there was a need to create the small screen anyway. It's not just for the logout. But I think what Pablo is showing is a way to customize the appearance of the login or logout text according to the status using this plugin logic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you use a plugin identifier in this URL scheme?
No. Only an action. So any plugin can open this screen.
Yeah, but if you will have another general plugin, what you will do?
No, because that general plugin needs to implement this action. If they don't implement this action, nothing will happen.
Yeah, but if you will have two general plugins, so you may not enter to the correct plugin. Right? You will go to the first one.
No, because it's integrating in all plugins that implement the action. If not, it will go to the next plugin.
Yeah, okay. If this is the logic.
Okay, that is all.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
Yeah, so I can go next. What happened with my video? There you go. So yeah, I'm working on the FIFA stuff. So yeah, mainly like finishing a few things there and adding some configurations because there's like 3 different clients having to use this integration and there's a lot of things moving, and so it takes a bit of time to do that. Then also working with what's it called? A new screen we need to do in React Native. By the way, which application did I use React Native? Like it was a video on the top and like like programs at the bottom. Do you guys remember? Is it Questa?
Yeah,
Zappen?
Quizy. Quizy or Zappen?
Oh, which one?
Quizy
Yeah.
and
Or
Zappen.
Zappen.
is it done in
Both from the
Zappen? Okay. Yeah. So because I need to like replicate that because the idea I think is to, from what I remember, it's not generic, right? That React Native component.
You're talking about a video at the top, and at the bottom you see like an EPG, a program guide.
So there's two. There's like the first use case is a video on the top, and then at the bottom should be a playlist. That's the first use case, and then in the future it will be that it can render a playlist or it could render, actually an EPG.
Okay.
Either of them. So, but
So
we don't have a playlist at the bottom of a video, at least not in Zappen.
yeah, but if it has an EPG, I can look at it and then I can just pretty much copy paste all the code and then just change to actually support, like for the, like how to place the video on top, which React Native, module, I need to call and everything. So.
Pablo, Quizy was React Native?
yes, it's React Native for Quizy, but it's totally custom for Quizy.
But did you use the bridge for the player and everything, or which player are you using?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just to look at that. Hold on.
Okay, so yes, we use the bridge for an inline player, but we have a custom player. It's not the Applicaster player, but should be the same with Applicaster player.
Okay, yeah. So I'll take a look. Which is the repo? Can you actually share it with me?
Yeah, I will send you in private.
Okay, cool. And then also a small, also finishing up the Adobe integration, Adobe Pass to be able to authorize Adobe with any provider. So I created a generic plugin, so actually everyone can actually use it, and it just needs to specify like certain parameters for the plugin that is required for Adobe, and that's it. So actually, if any of you guys need, or has the requirement for Adobe, just know that there is actually an Adobe plugin, for authentication. So for logging, registering, and everything. And then the other thing is that I don't know if any of you guys know. I know it's snow in Miami, but I'm not so sure if it's said by everyone, or not by everyone. But I'm leaving Applicaster in like a couple of weeks. So so I'll be joining startup as a co-founder, and and my last day of work will be 31st of May. So,
wow.
So you guys know.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, actually, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
That's bad news for Applicaster in general and the Android community more specifically, but good news for you, I guess. So good luck.
Yeah. So it's totally, completely changed. There's nothing to do with what we do today, but it's a great challenge, and so yeah. I think it's gonna be
good luck.
To work on. Thanks, Annie.
So good luck.
Yeah, and so yeah, during these weeks, ping me if you need anything as well, and like feel free, of course, as always, and like reach me if you need anything, have any questions, or I can help you out with anything as we have. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Who's next?
I can go next.
Okay.
Yeah. So last week we had a bit of regression on the Android. It was not showing ads, which I handle that with Guy. Thanks, Guy, for help. And today, my everyday work is I'm coming over and checking what's not working, what was working yesterday. So today the React Native doesn't work anymore. And it's like, I think this is basically it.
And what was the issue with that?
What the issue is that, basically my native code is dependent on loads of variables, which is like data source provider, the React Native component, our client server, and it's like if you're combining all that together and all that together parts are someone is working on something, it's like never ending story. I can't close my task, say like job done, because every day something doesn't work. So it's not necessarily the Android stuff itself. It's like, but to be fair, Android part is not, it's still not stable, and I'm not sure what's the reason of that, because a while ago I was working on fixing JS pipes, and I remember I get to the state which Android was on, and it was that we were able to display the red screen on the React Native rather than crashing the app, but it get into the crashes again. So I'm not sure if something changes or if this is specific for that cell components. But anyways, yeah, it's it's a never-ending task.
Anna, why don't we speak with Boaz and add some automation tests that would fail very quickly if something gets broken?
Just taking it over and
How would you get very quickly? What do you mean?
Just add tests get some mock data, and
but the problem is that, you know, like one person is working on the React Native, and a React Native component is a one thing, but then you get DSP with changing the data as well, which comes into React Native, and then the DSP is taking the data from the server, and the works on a server are also continuous. So if something goes wrong on a server, the DSP doesn't work correctly, and it ends up on a crash of the app. So basically, it's a lots of dependency. This
is a known problem, and not a known problem, but a common problem. And the solution is to agree on APIs. And cement this with some tests. If somebody breaks the API, tests are failing, no commit. No commit, no merge, no pull, no app.
Okay, but can you do that on the DSP and React Native level?
Yeah.
So they can't commit tests not passing, because this is the issue. Okay.
We can do pretty many things. Maybe we can try to set up something with Boaz and
yeah, that would be very useful, because for me it's a 70% of my time is investigating someone else's issue.
Yeah, the point will be if someone actually updates the API, you know, in real time. There is no way to change. I mean, they might break things. So of course, if someone changes the API. Something that I told regarding this whole flow with the DSPs and everything, that I told Francois that I think it could be prioritized, that it was impossible to validate the DSPs. So like there is no validation per se. So it just says that it returns, but that's it. I mean, when you're developing the DSP, you know, like it just, you try it, it just tells you, hey, everything is okay. Like, but in reality, it's not okay. It just says, okay, it can return data, but it doesn't actually check that the parameters are as they should be in the spec. So, for example, it happened to me. I spent like a whole day, you know, trying to figure out what the issue was, and it was just a small, tiny typo, you know, somewhere, you know. So,
yeah, it's from my investigation. It shows like that the bundles which we are loading somewhere got that twice .js. So it seems like on every single time, but it's like today is this, tomorrow it will be something different, and super frustrating, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like you're falling into the rabbit hole and you don't know how deep it is, and this is making you feel bad. But if you start adding tests, then it will break, and at some point it will stop breaking, because whatever bad thing is, like, I mean, bad in the sense that it's breaking something that, I mean, you don't know what it is. It just won't be allowed into the code. We had a lot of problems before, similar problems, but they were not cross-language. They were like, for example, somebody works on a plugin and somebody else works on the API, and they change something, they forget to notify everybody, and it's
the issue. This is the issue. So we got a couple of things. One person is working on the React Native. The other person is working on the DSP. That person is working on our web views. The fourth person is working on the back end. And it's like, you know, I'm feeling more like a manager rather than a tester, rather than a developer.
Yeah, it will eventually converge, but like it won't converge by itself. Like we need to try to get there. It is like, you know, when you have some software, some piece of software, eventually the software becomes to reflect the structure of the organization, because teams tend to work on a single component, and then yeah, I mean, we just need to add some tests, and like what I suggested about a year ago was to have this API tests, because it is very annoying. Like I understand that somebody needs to add some feature and they need to change the API, but like they need to notify everybody, and they need to say, okay, everything right, your apps will stop working, and then apologize, which is what I'm doing actually, because with the bottom bar we didn't think that we will break so many apps, and like even though we discussed these things, like people are still coming and they say my app stopped working, and I apologize, and I send them to some documentation, but I know that we didn't communicate this properly in the first place.
Yeah, so, I think the communication is the biggest issue.
Yeah, well, good.
So I had a discussion just with Udi about this, and I think he has in mind a different new workflow about the things. Like,
yeah, honey, I think you're in a bit more comfortable position, because you writing your React Native and you writing your native code, so you're one dependency less than I am.
You know, every time there is, I feel you, because every time there is a new things, and you cannot predict what will be next. And I think also this week was a rough week, like last week was a rough week to our SDK. So, but Yudi told me that he wants to do things different now, and he will let us know soon.
Okay, good. That's good news.
I actually had the discussion with Udi about 1 year ago, and now we have Boaz. Like
you just like buried our hope, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, like we are aware that this is the pain point, and one of the pain points was that apps were breaking, and the other pain point was that APIs were not stable. So we are addressing the apps breaking issue by introducing automation, and the API issue, I'm not so sure what we did, because I left it there. But like there are at least discussions, and these things have been discussed.
Okay,
we probably need to start implementing them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Anna, and everybody else. I think we're moving on to the Zap team. But maybe before the Zap team, we should probably say a welcome to Juan, who has joined us just today, and also already joining the first kind of live Android Tech Talk. So first of all, welcome, Juan.
Thank you. Thank you.
To the LATAM team based in Miami. I just saw the Facebook post also.
Oh, okay.
About you joining Applicaster.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud about joining the team. Really proud.
Cool. Welcome aboard. All right. Now let's move on to the Zap team, I think. These are the last. This is the last team. for today?
I don't have much to update. Just fixing some stuff with the navigation.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say thank you to you, Gil, and to Tarek and to his parents for all the help.
Welcome.
Yeah, nice. Alex is here?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm ready to drop the bad news whenever you're done. So
Go ahead.
Well,
just sorry, but just one question here. Do you know, do you have estimation when you will finish the navigation power?
Can you say? I couldn't hear you. Can you say again?
Do you have estimation when the navigation bar will be ready?
Navigation what?
Navigation bar, the top bar.
Like, what do you mean ready? Like, I'm doing some bug fixes. You're referring to something specific?
Yeah, to the two-side menu bar.
This one, okay.
And the spaces in the action bar.
What's wrong with the action bar?
What we talked about with the spaces between all
It was
the
fixed, no?
pages. Okay, let's talk about it later.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
As a part of the navigation epic, I'm finishing on the side menu as well. I think, I hope at least by the end of the week it will be done. There's basically some cosmetic changes and API changes that we do. And apart from that, as you guys remember, on June 1st, Ron is still planning to depreciate the old way we build the families, the composite metadata for families. So I would like to urge you to convert your unconverted families to the new family interfaces that we're using. And that's quite a few families that don't use it as of now. And it's only, a couple weeks left. So yeah, if you can take a look, please.
Alex, I have it as a next task. I literally asked to not to do that in the last week of May, but it seems it will be last week of May. So, but it's my next task. Yeah, as soon as never-ending stabilizing unstable cells will be finished, then I will start the family migration. But I'm happy if you know, like if you want to join me with that migration, I would be more than happy.
Yes, as a Zap team, we're moving to this new 3-week cycle. So on the next week, I'm kind of on support. So I think it's the best time for me to help everyone to finalize the conversion.
Okay.
And I'm not even worried about you because you've been part of this development process. So
I am worried because I'm doing quite of unusual things on my family, and I think there will be part of development on. Yeah.
One question: is this affecting just families, or is also affecting the layouts apps?
Just
just the UI builder. It doesn't affect the templates. What else? As you're probably aware, Circle CI introducing the 2.0, and in August they're depreciating the 1.0, and it's they're just pulling the plug. So that's one of the probably upcoming tasks that I'll be needing to take over to migrate everything to Circle 2.0. Otherwise, we're not gonna have it. So that's all the alarming news I have for you guys. And once again, as soon as you start migrating the families, as soon as you have some time, I'll be glad to help and expedite and speed up the process. So please let me know if you need any help. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Alex and Gil.
You can't get enough, Gil.
What? Sorry?
Oh, I thought they're asking you again, Gil. No, never mind.
No. I said thank you and Gil because you were the last two people to speak. Okay. Any other topics, issues, concerns that you want to raise that are part of our day-to-day work before I kind of jump quickly to talk about Android to Google I/O news, specifically about Android? Okay. So I didn't prepare something really special, and I guess some or most of you might have heard a few buzzwords about what went down in Google I/O. But still, I thought it might be worth mentioning a few highlights. These are not things that we necessarily are going to be influenced by right away. Obviously, the Android P keeps on rolling, and they released the beta release for Android P, the second developer preview, which is in beta. Unlike previous years, they're now rolling it out to many other devices, not just the Pixel devices, thanks to Project Treble that they launched last year, that now allows manufacturers to update their OEMs more frequently, more easily, the operating system. So maybe I'll share the screen with a few highlights from the Android developers blog. It'll only be a few minutes. If you want to talk about anything specific, we can do it. But again, I didn't prepare any slides or something of that sort. So we'll just have a quick review. You guys can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So about the beta release of Android P. This is kind of a review of the more user-facing features. There are some technical things to discuss here, but the more of the user-facing features. So all of the introduction almost in Google I/O was focused mainly on AI capabilities. Google is investing a lot in artificial intelligence, obviously, and now it's baking it more deeply into the Android system as well. And so they've introduced some ideas of doing kind of adaptations and optimizations to the usage of the app with adaptive battery, which means that the usage of the apps by the user will determine how much battery they're allowed to consume. And also kind of deciding for the user what they would like to do next with app actions. That's also a buzzword that now we hear a lot. I'm not sure that we are going to make use, we might make use in some of these advanced features, but I'm not sure that right away, at least. But the idea is that apps now can decide which actions they want to trigger to the user, and it will allow the user to engage with them more easily rather than opening the app. There are actions that can pop up right away, and they can, and sometimes they can even predict what the user would like to do using these actions. So this kind of the AI connection to it. Slices, which is also a nice UI feature, like presenting search results and more advanced UI for information that is coming within apps. This is kind of an enhancement to the widgets features, but not on the home screen, but rather from search results and that sort of usages. I think that the most influencing one in terms of user experience for Android P is the new system navigation. This is the kind of the biggest news. No more home button, or at least home button is slightly changing towards what's going on in iPhone X, which I'm not really sure why they decided to go for it, but maybe we'll see once we update our devices to it. We'll see if it's actually something that we can adapt to quickly. They say it is. Let's wait and see. But the home button is changing, and everything is going to be based on swipes, and the entire navigation system is going to be more based on gestures rather than clicking on the buttons of recent and home and that stuff. Back button is staying, so at least that is a common ground. Some more things related to background restrictions. These are the devices that Android P is rolling out to as the beta. Interestingly enough, I don't see LG and Samsung here as part of the early adopters, but I don't know. Sony, Nokia, Xiaomi, these companies. And I think that's it for the consumer side, but more interesting for us as developers, obviously, is what's new in Android on the development side. And here we have some big news. The entire support library is now changing and is being packed into a new framework that is called Android Jetpack. This is something that you'll obviously hear a lot in the upcoming future. It's a redesign that they've done for the entire support library, the architecture components, and a few other libraries that they packed inside, some helper libraries for Kotlin, and some more goodies. So everything that developers need in order to develop their apps is now in this package that is called Jetpack. The immediate influence for us is that the package names and the dependency names are changing. So there is no more Android support v4, Android support v13, Android support v7, whatever. Everything is now changing to be called Android X, which means there is going to be some migration. They have an automatic migration tool. They've introduced it as part of the Xcode, the Android Studio, sorry. Oh my God. So part of the Android Studio, you can migrate your existing Gradle configurations directly to the way Jetpack uses the dependency names. But here, remember the name, you will see it quite a lot in the near future. Some more addition to Kotlin, a new version of Android Studio, obviously. And this is also something that might be interesting, not for us necessarily as developers, or partially for developers, but mostly for project managers and people who deal with Google Play. The development can now be made so that users can download a minified version of the APK, a trimmed version of the APK based on what they need in runtime according to the device and their settings and etc. So even if we package all the resources into one bundle, we can bundle it so that not all resources are actually downloaded into the APK. Essentially, Google Play kind of repacks the APK according to what the user needs. It's currently in beta, the entire Android app bundle feature in Google Play. There might be some features, again, not immediate features, but there might be features that we can adopt from here to make our APK sizes smaller. This can be interesting in the future, probably. What else? Android things, launch of an Android for everything that is not phone from like smart devices with display. Yeah, they launched this launch from beta to 1.0 release. I think that's it. There might be more. Obviously, there's a lot more into it, and I think the Jetpack thing is something definitely to take a look at in the near future. There are a lot more features and things that they've shown, but I think the highlights for Android are what I've just mentioned. If you have anything else, any comments, questions, anything that you thought was more interesting than what I showed, please step forward.
You mentioned something about Xcode.
Yes, that was a Freudianic mistake.
Okay.
I guess I've been dealing with iOS quite a lot lately. Not iOS development though.
Well, I'm using Xcode for Android development, so I was wondering whether they added some Android features.
I'm not sure I want you to elaborate now. All right. Any questions? Anything? Any comments? All right. We'll probably talk about some of this stuff in the future as well when it comes more relevant. But just as highlights, I think it was important to mention now. I guess that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye, guys.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
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 It's the other side.